Right, today we're talking about CrossFit jargon and terminology. HSPU, T2B, EMOM, AMRAP, C2B, get out of here. Today we're going to talk about three things: session structure, workout structure, and then some specific terminology in itself. Workout structure. There's many different ways that we structure workouts to keep our training varied and to keep us progressing. Number one, for time. Basically, you can think of this like a race. For time, the goal is to go as quickly as you can with respect to great technique. The reason that we do workouts for time is because what we're timing, we can measure, and it means that we can measure our fitness. If we do the same workout again in 3 months and we do it faster, we know that we've got an objective improvement in our fitness. AMRAP stands for as many rounds and or reps as possible. This is where we have a predetermined amount of time, let's say for example 10 minutes, and the goal is to get as much work done in that block of time as possible. Again, it's an objective way of measuring our progress. If we got this much work done in 10 minutes today, and we got more work done in that same 10-minute block in the future, we know we've got a clear measurement and improvement in our fitness. EMOM stands for every minute on the minute. We have a task to perform at the beginning of each minute, and we have the remainder of that minute to rest. For example, if we did a 10-minute EMOM of 3 front squats, what it means is we do 3 front squats at the beginning of each minute. We have the remainder of that time to rest, and we continue to do 3 front squats every minute until the 10 minutes is up. There's other variations of the EMOM, like an every 2 minutes or an every 3 minutes, but the principle is the same. We go every 1, 2, 3 minutes, whatever the time frame is. For quality, what that means is that our priority for today is 100% on the quality of our movement. We're less interested in the clock at all, and we've got a high amount of intention on spending time in positions to develop great technique. This usually means that we move from one movement to the next without sort of rushing between movements and really just focusing on getting connected to the movements. Specific terminology. Reps. Simply a repetition. Let's say for a squat, you go down and up. That's 1 rep. Sets. You can think of a set or sets as a group of reps. If somebody does 10 repetitions and we want them to do that 5 times, that would be 5 sets of 10 reps. Usually there is a specific amount of rest between each set. Tempo. Tempo is the speed at which we perform the movement. Tempo is great because it allows us to have a high amount of control over the quality of our movement, and also give us feedback that we are hitting the same movement standards each time. We read tempo as the speed of the movement, and what that looks like is 4 numbers, usually written after the exercise. Each number represents 1 portion of a movement during the exercise. We always read tempo with the lowering phase first, the end of range, the up phase, the end of range. If you were going to do a front squat at a 3, 2, 1, 1 tempo, what that would mean is 3 seconds down, the lowering phase, 2 seconds hold, that's the bottom, the end of range, 1 second back up, and 1 second pause at the top. We always read tempo with the lowering phase first. This can get confusing when we're doing something like a pull-up, for example, where we're starting at the bottom. The first movement we perform to get up is the up phase. However, it's still always written as the lowering phase first. So for a pull-up at a tempo of 3, 1, 1, 1, we would read that, it would be 3 seconds lowering, 1 second at the bottom, 1 second up, 1 second chin over the bar. We still need to start the movement at the bottom, but this helps us understand the order of each range. Sometimes when reading tempo, you'll see an X in there. X indicates to perform that range as fast as possible. We really only ever see the X as fast as possible during the up phase. We would never go as fast as we can and drop into a movement without control. we do want to express power, which means pulling or pushing as quickly as we can against the force. For example, a front squat at 3-2-X1 means 3 second down, 2 second hold, X, stand up as fast as you can, 1 second reset at the top. Conditioning. Simply, we're talking about what you might think traditionally as cardio. However, we use so many different movements in here to create our conditioning, but it's generally that we have an emphasis on getting our heart rate up. The brief is where we bring everybody in before each section of the workout to explain what we're doing, the intention, and the key points to focus on. Touch and go reps. You might see this abbreviated as TNG. What this means is that we're hanging on to the barbell for multiple reps without resting. For example, if we're deadlifting, when we go down, we touch and go, meaning we touch the ground and go for the next rep. So we're continuing to move through. This is specific for barbell movements, mostly where we contact the floor, but also sometimes overhead. Pacing. This is usually relevant for our conditioning workouts, especially the longer ones. Think of this as how fast or slow you decide to do the workout in order to get your best overall result. For example, your 100-meter sprint pace and your 5-kilometer run pace should be very different. And if you tried to do your 100-meter sprint pace for a 5K run, 150 meters in, you would realize that was the wrong strategy. The person who has a clear expectation to go steady from the beginning because they know how much work they have to do is going to do much better in the long run. Pacing helps us approach workouts in a way that is sustainable and we get the intended stimulus of the workout. Scaling. Think of scaling as literally what it is, moving up and down a scale. When we do this with movements, it helps us make sure that we're getting high quality movement by having that movement meet us exactly where we're at. Let's say we have handstand walk as a skill that day. There's many different variations and scaling options of a handstand walk to make sure that you get what you need to progress yourself through the steps in order to be able to achieve that. We might start off with a handstand hold against the wall and then progress to a handstand hold with a partner, progress to a handstand walk with a partner, progress to a handstand walk. But just think of scaling as there's many different steps to make sure you get the workout you need.